If we're talking about life in Phoenix, Arizona, you can't have a conversation without talking about Scottsdale. So let's jump into it and learn everything you need to know about Scottsdale, Arizona. Scottsdale has a population of over 250,000. It's located in the northeast portion of the valley, east of the city of Phoenix, and north of Tempe. And Scottsdale may only be a few miles wide in some sections, but it stretches for almost 30 miles from north to south. You can get on Scottsdale Road at the 202 and go north and pretty much experience every section of Scottsdale from Scottsdale Road. Scottsdale is divided into four main sections. In Old Town, the south part of the city, that's where you'll find the downtown and all the city facilities. To the north of that is what's called MCCORMICK Ranch. It's a little bit newer. Probably, a lot of people think of Scottsdale as a retirement destination. MCCORMICK Ranch is probably what most people have in their mind when they think of retiring to Scottsdale. To the north of that is what you would call KIERLAND, or what is called the magic zip code of 85254. It's an interesting combination of Phoenix and Scottsdale. That's located right around the Scottsdale Airport. You've also got KIERLAND Commons and the quarter retail centers there. So that area is almost what I would consider the center of Scottsdale now. To the north of the 101 is what I would call North Scottsdale. The scenery changes a little bit. You've got the McDowell Mountains to the east, and it's more of a desert setting. And Scottsdale has some of the most restrictive sign covenants and rules in all of the country. So they do a good job of eliminating unnecessary, gaudy, lit up signs and things like that. So once you go north of the 101, there's very much a desert feel to the neighborhoods. A lot of the homes there, many of the traditional suburban neighborhoods here in Phoenix, you've got just block fences on the border of your lot, and everybody has these small yards. But in a lot of areas of North Scottsdale, they don't have those walls, and there's what they call natural area and open space in between homes. So you get this nice desert feel, and not so much a suburban neighborhood. My name's JD Manning. I'm a realtor with eXp Realty, and I've lived here in Scottsdale and different parts of North Phoenix and Glendale for the past 22 years now. Originally, I'm from Nebraska. I went to school in Colorado and ended up down here after school. And my whole family followed me down from Nebraska, so we've really enjoyed our time here in Arizona. Like I said, I've lived in many different parts of the valley, so if you're thinking about making a move here to Phoenix, reach out to me. I'd love to hear what's going on for you. What you're thinking about possibly moving here to Phoenix, and see how I can help you. I've lived and done business here in all different parts of the city, so we can talk about what you're looking for, and I probably will be able to point out a few different neighborhoods that might be a good fit for you. So feel free to reach out. Old Town Scottsdale is the southern part of the city, and that's where downtown is. That's where a lot of the resorts are located, either right there in Old Town or nearby. So if you stay there, you're going to have excellent access to Old Town Scottsdale, which is the hub of all the art galleries, all the souvenir shops, all the nice restaurants, and of course the nightlife and all the different nightclubs that are going on there. So if you're into staying out late, going dancing, and maybe having a few cocktails, Old Town Scottsdale is a great place for that. Just north of Old Town is the Scottsdale Fashion Square. So if you're into shopping and you're wanting to stay or live in this part of town, you're going to have great access to all the high-end retailers. So if you're into Gucci and Tiffany, Crate and Barrel and Pottery Barn, Scottsdale Fashion Square is a great place for you to go and visit shops like that. Just north of Old Town is MCCORMICK Ranch. This is a more traditional neighborhood for here in Phoenix. You've got the stucco houses with the tile roofs, and there's a little more uniformity. All the neighborhoods are going to have HOAs. So there's lots of golf courses there. MCCORMICK Ranch has a couple of really big lakes. So it's a little bit different setting than Old Town. And there's a lot more condos and townhomes type communities there. So a lot of people that are retiring to Scottsdale, that's usually where they're drawn to, just because there's a with the townhome and condo community, it's a little easier to lock and leave a unit there. So if you're a snowbird, that's a good way to start to retire to Scottsdale. But it's a great place to live too. Lots of really nice neighborhoods in that part of the city. One of the main draws for KIERLAND and the Magic Zip Code is the proximity to the Scottsdale Airport and what's called the Scottsdale Air Park. The airport is one of the busiest single runway general aviation airports in the country. So there's going to be constant traffic, whether it's people learning to fly or just small Cessna type planes. There's a ton of Learjet and private aircraft traffic in and out of there as well. No commercial flights, but a ton of general aviation. So there's almost always a plane in the air whenever you're in that Scottsdale Airport community. Surrounding the airport is what they call the Scottsdale Air Park, and it is a bunch of different industrial warehouse type buildings, and that is probably the largest employment center in that section of town. You've got great access to the 101 and Scottsdale Road, so there's lots of different ways to get in and out. If you're an executive and you own a company, it's a great place to house your business because you're so close to a lot of high-end luxury residential communities just to the north. So a lot going on there in the Scottsdale Air Park area. That's a huge draw. I used to do commercial real estate that we focused on the Scottsdale Air Park. I did that from about 2000 to 2010, and it's changed quite a bit, like any city. But with Phoenix and Scottsdale and all the growth that we've experienced here, it's been interesting to watch that area really grow up. The final part of the city is what's called North Scottsdale. It begins at the 101 and stretches all the way north, where you'll run into the mountains at the Desert Mountain Golf Club, and it borders Carefree to the west, as well as the city of Cave Creek. So this part of the city is known for its golf courses as well as its mountain views. A lot of the communities there stretch right up to the mountains. So you're going to get homes in this part of town that have just amazing mountain views. Plus, as you go north from the 101, there's a significant elevation change. So a lot of the neighborhoods between the Loop 101 and Pinnacle Peak are on this slope, and so there's an opportunity for just amazing views from outside your home. I've been in a lot of different homes in that area where you go out in the backyard and you've got tremendous mountain views, and at night you've got city light and mountain views of down to Camelback Mountain, Piestewa Peak, and all of those mountains inside of Phoenix, and it's just a very dynamic part of the city. So that draws a lot of custom home building, and so some very nice neighborhoods. Another part of North Scottsdale is what I call the trophy golf courses. You've got places like True North and Greyhawk, Desert Mountain, and the list goes on. And a lot of these communities are private, and they're also the elite of the elite. So it's not a cheap place to play golf, but if you're looking to get on some of the most well-known courses in the country, North Scottsdale is the cream of the crop here in Phoenix. So a lot of these communities, they're private, and in order to be a member, you actually have to own property inside of their community, whether it's a lot or a house. That way, it's a little bit more exclusive, and it keeps people from just wanting to just join every club they can. Well, this creates a little higher barrier to entry for that. So great place. If you're looking for a very dynamic, high-end home with views and a higher-end community, North Scottsdale is a great place to be. If you're into motorsports, North Scottsdale is a great place to live. You've got easy access to Bartlett Lake. It's about probably 15, 20 miles east of the northern section of Scottsdale. It's a reservoir, but it's plenty big, so you've got all the options for whatever you're into. If you got a pontoon boat, or you've got a huge cigarette boat and you want to go skiing, or whatever you're into, Bartlett Lake is a great place for you to get out and enjoy the water, and it's actually a really cool setting. It's a reservoir that's backed up into a canyon, so you've got just amazing mountain views while you're there enjoying a lake. So if you're into boating, that's a great place to be, and it's easy access from North Scottsdale. Home prices in Scottsdale run the gamut. Because it is such a big city from north to south, and there's, whichever of the four main sections you're in, there's a big delta between the homes available in each of these areas. You can buy, a single or double wide home in an RV park in the south section of Scottsdale, for about 40 grand. But the most expensive homes are selling in the 15 to 30 million dollar range in North Scottsdale. So there's a little bit of everything for everyone in Scottsdale. You're starting at the southern end. You have your more traditional neighborhoods that were built in kind of the 60s and 70s. Homes prices are going to start in the mid 400s or so. And then as you go north, the prices kind of go up and up. Obviously you can spend as much as you would want in North Scottsdale, but there are still lots of sections where homes are very affordable. So if you don't have a custom home budget, but you work nearby in Scottsdale and need to have easy access to work, the south part of the city is a great option. The neighborhoods around Old Town are going to be, as working class as you will find in Scottsdale. Most of the neighborhoods are going to be, built in the 60s and 70s. You're going to have your standard shingle roofs and, just a typical neighborhood for here in Phoenix. It just happens to be located in Scottsdale. So most of them in that part of town are not going to have HOAs. So if you have a lot of vehicles, or you don't want someone telling you what you can do with your house, that is a great area for that reason. Also, because of the proximity to Old Town, a lot of people are buying homes in that area to use as short-term rentals. It's just a fact of life now. Almost every neighborhood across Phoenix has some of them. Old Town is a great, really big draw for tourists and visitors. So a lot of homes in that area have been improved and turned into these rentals. So if you're considering that, that's a great location to take on a project like that. Hundreds of thousands of people a year are coming and visiting Phoenix and Scottsdale, and Old Town is one of the best draws there is. The neighborhoods in McCormick Ranch are going to be a little bit newer, probably late 70s, mostly in the 80s, maybe some early 90s. There's a lot of townhome and condo communities here in McCormick Ranch. Lots of single-family home communities too, and some custom higher-end neighborhoods with larger lots. So a lot of variety in that part of town. Prices will start, be in that $500,000 to $700,000 range for townhomes and condos. I'm sure you can spend $3 to $4 million on a custom home in that part of town if that's what you're looking for. So there's going to be a good variety there. Lots of good shopping available as far as grocery stores. There are AJ's is a real high-end market here in the Phoenix Metro. So there's a handful of those located in and around Scottsdale. So lots going on in McCormick Ranch. You still got really good access to the airport there. A lot of the neighborhoods are going to have HOAs. So that's something to consider if you're wanting to be in that part of town. More than likely going to be a fact of life in the neighborhoods there in McCormick Ranch. As you go north from McCormick Ranch, you're going to get into the KIERLAND and the Magic Zip Code area. A lot of those neighborhoods in this part of town are going to have built probably in the 70s to early 80s. Some of the neighborhoods have bigger homes. It's kind of a good mix of neighborhoods without HOAs and those with an HOA. So big variety there. As you get east over towards the 101 and along Shea and Cactus Road, as you stretch east towards Fountain Hills, there's a section there where you'll find a lot of neighborhoods with acre lots. Some of them even have horse privileges. So if you want horses or you have some of your own, that's a great place to look for a property. You've got all the amenities of Scottsdale, plus you have the ability to have your horse or horses right there on your property. The KIERLAND Commons Retail Center was developed in the early 2000s, and that was a big driver for a lot of the neighborhoods there. So I worked in the Scottsdale Air Park for the better part of 10 years. So my first home here in the Phoenix area was actually right there at KIERLAND. I had a condo there, and it was easy for me to get to work. I was just 5 minutes away. We could walk over to KIERLAND Commons and go to dinner or go shopping. So Like I mentioned before, North Scottsdale is known for its golf course communities, but it also has more of an open desert feel. So you'll run into a lot of different neighborhoods there that have some natural area open space between the homes. So you're not going to walk into your backyard and have to stare at a block fence. And there you'll have a little bit of a buffer between you and your neighbor. So lots of different sized lots in these communities in this part of town. Probably down to about a half acre. A lot of communities do have 5-acre lots as well. So one of my favorite neighborhoods in North Scottsdale is what's called Pinnacle Peak Vistas. It's just off of Pima, right? It's north of Thompson Peak Parkway and Pima, east of the road, and it's a neighborhood full of mostly acre lots, and they're all custom homes, and they have a nice buffer between the homes, and you've got really good views of the mountains to the east. Some homes in that section do have city light views. It's just got a great feel of a lot of the communities that are much further north that people are attracted to, but you're only about 5 minutes north of the Loop 101. So this is a great community. You've got a lot of people that live in this neighborhood that are still working in Scottsdale full time. So if you're working in the Scottsdale Air Park or your business is located there, this is a great spot. You can get away and get that North Scottsdale desert feel to the neighborhood without having to drive another 20-30 minutes north to a lot of the more well-known and trophy golf course communities. In most neighborhoods in North Scottsdale, you're probably going to see prices start in the 800 range, and they'll go up from there to whatever you're looking to spend. You can find an opportunity to spend as much money as you want. There's a community called Silverleaf that's up in the mountains just above DC Ranch. Homes in that area have some of the most amazing views in all of the city of Phoenix. Very high-end, elite level mansions in that part of town. DC Ranch is a master plan community that is located east of Pima. It's got a wide variety of homes too. They have some condo and townhome communities, plus some build homes and some custom homes in that area as well. It stretches back in up against the McDowell Mountains, and most of the neighborhoods in that community have amazing mountain views, and they did a really good job of designing the neighborhood too. So you don't drive in and feel like you're in a cookie cutter, stamped out home suburban communities like you'll find in a lot of places of Phoenix. So if you're looking for a little bit newer master plan community feel, DC Ranch is a great spot. Things that people think of when they hear Scottsdale is going and playing golf. A lot of people do take golf trips here from all other parts of the country, especially in the winter when most of the country is snowed out. Scottsdale's a great place to visit and get out and play some golf. Obviously, you've got options all across the valley for very budget conscious, or most of the places in Scottsdale are either private or they're some of the best known courses in all the country. So I like to call them the trophy courses, like True North, Whisper Rock, Greyhawk, Legend Trail. The list goes on and on. Desert Mountain has 7 courses now. There are so many different options to play elite level golf in North Scottsdale. So if that's something that you're looking to be close to, it's a great part of town. A lot of these communities are private, but there are all kinds of public options as well. Another reason that so many people are drawn to Scottsdale is because of the outdoor recreation options. Because Scottsdale is such a large and diverse city, there's all kinds of different options available to get out, and if you're into biking or just want to go for a walk. In Old Town, there is what's called the Greenbelt. It's actually, 100-year flood storm drainage and collection areas. So it's designed to, if we have big storms, a lot of the parks and paths and whatnot in this area are going to fill up with some water for a day or two. But most of the time, this is a great place. There's, throughout the Greenbelt, there are several different parks. There's a few man-made lakes. There are, tennis courts and lots of different outdoor activity options. I know there's a couple of different dog parks available too. So there's even some golf courses that are built into this Greenbelt as well. So if you're in the Old Town McCormick Ranch section of Scottsdale, lots of different options there. If you go north, if you're into mountain biking, North Scottsdale has some tremendous facilities. I know they just built a brand new a trailhead. There is a section of transmission power lines that runs through North Scottsdale, and underneath in that section are some amazing mountain bike trails. And so this very popular in certain times of the year. So a lot of people were just kind of parking in the desert, and it was a bit of a nuisance. So they put in this brand new trailhead right by Troon, and it's a beautiful facility. And so if you're into mountain biking, it's a great place to park your car, have some restrooms available, and you can head out into the desert and enjoy the trails, without having to get too far away from civilization. So Scottsdale also borders McDowell Mountain Park. So there are lots of different options. A good section of that park is located on the east side of the McDowell Mountains. So not as easy to get to from a lot of sections of Scottsdale, but it's a beautiful park. So if you want to get out and do some hiking and get away and get into the desert, that's a great option. To the north, you've got Pinnacle Peak, and there are some really cool trails on that mountain as well. So lots of different options as far as hiking or bicycling. If you're into motorcycles, North Scottsdale and Carefree are a huge destination for bikers on the weekends. I know it's become kind of a nuisance in the city of Carefree, and they crack down, and they have installed sensors along their main roads to measure the decibel levels of people on their Harleys that it's a Saturday and they want to go cruise and head up and enjoy a little bit cooler weather, head up to Cave Creek and Carefree and hang out for a bit before heading back home. But you know how people on Harleys are, they're going to let you know how loud it is. And in that part of town, the roads go through the lowest part, and so all these high-end neighborhoods kind of stretch up the mountains from Scottsdale and Pima Road. And so when people are tearing through this part of, or those sections of town on their Harleys and making a huge ruckus, it's been very disruptive to a lot of the residents there. So it's a great place to go and enjoy a motorcycle, but you just have to keep in mind that the city of Carefree is cracking down on that, so you just have to be mindful when you're in that part of town. One of the things that makes Scottsdale a very popular tourist destination is all of the different resorts that are located within the city. In the Old Town section, there are all kinds of different resorts with all the downtown shopping and dining options there, plus the nightlife. A lot of people want to stay nearby, so lots of really nice resorts there. Even more as you go north into North Scottsdale, you've got the Princess at where they play the Phoenix Open. That's located at the 101 and the Scottsdale Road. In North Scottsdale, you've got the Four Seasons Resort. It's right by Pinnacle Peak, so you've got a really nice desert setting there. So if you're looking for a 5-star experience at a hotel, that's a great option. It's everywhere you go, you're just going to run into a very nice resort. There's almost too many to name off. So that's a great attraction, and why a lot of people are coming here to Scottsdale. It's also a good reason to live in this part of town. There are lots of options now where you can actually get a day pass to go in and use the pool facilities or go use the spa. So you don't necessarily have to be a guest at these high-end resorts to take advantage of them. So the spa at the Princess Hotel is actually one of our favorites. When we go on a staycation here to kind of get away, in the summer the heat can kind of wear you out a little bit, so we like to go and stay somewhere for a couple of nights and just hang out by the pool. The Princess is our favorite. It's a huge facility and there's lots of different pools, so in the summer it's nice because it's just not very crowded at all. But they also have the Willow Spa, which is our favorite in town. There's no kids allowed, and they have their own private pool, so you can go in there. You can get a massage or any of their different treatments that they have available. You can also just get a day pass where you can go in, take advantage of if you like to sit in the sauna or the steam room, do that. You want to work out and then go sit by the pool, enjoy the afternoon, have a few cocktails. That's a great spot. And not so many people know about it. And of course there's no kids, so it's a much quieter option there at the Princess. I know I've rambled on and on about how Scottsdale is this great tourist destination and all these amazing resorts and high-end golf courses. But it's a great place for families as well. There's lots of different things to get out and do if you've got kids of all ages. In South Scottsdale, there's the McCormick Stillman Railroad Park, which is really cool. It's a 30-acre park, it actually has an operating small scale train that you can get on and ride around throughout the park. It's a really cool place at Christmas time. They decorate and hang lights in all the trees throughout the park, so that's a great experience to get out and go at night and see all the different light displays. They've got a railroad museum there as well, so if you got younger kids, that's a great park to go and visit because of the railroad stuff. But there's also, I believe there's a lake there if I remember right, and there's lots of different playgrounds and ramadas, so if you're looking for a place to have a birthday party, that's an awesome place to go. You know, and along the greenbelt that I mentioned before, there's lots of different parks and lakes and, you know, baseball fields and all the different recreational options, sports facilities. So that's a great part of town if you've got younger kids. In the northern part of the city, you're going to find KIERLAND Commons and Scottsdale Quarter. They're both outdoor mall style shopping centers. Lots of really nice restaurants. It's a great place to go and hang out and spend some time when the weather's nice. In the summer, they do have misters going outside of all the stores, and they've set it up so there's a lot of shade when you're walking around and shopping. So it's a good place to go, you know, all year round. But when the weather's really nice here, they're really fun places to go and do some shopping, you know, walk around, experience the different water features that they have. They also do a really good job in the holiday season of lighting up all the palm trees. And so it's a Scottsdale Quarter does probably a 60, well, maybe not that high, but probably a 30-foot tall Christmas tree. It's just a really fun place to go and spend some time outside, go shopping, have some dinner. On Scottsdale, you're going to find a lot of interesting shopping options as well. You're going to find a lot of art galleries, lots of kind of mom and pop style tourist shops. So if you're looking for Scottsdale trinkets and souvenirs, that's a great place to go. There's a lot of really cool Western shops in that part of town as well. If you're looking for high-level art, lots of galleries in that area. So it's a lot of fun to walk around and see all the different shops and a wide variety of things that you can go in and take a look at and take some souvenirs home with you. Scottsdale is known for its big time events as well. Every February, there's the biggest party on turf. The Phoenix Open is held at the TPC of Scottsdale. This is a crazy scene. I'm sure you're familiar with it. Every year they build a stadium around the 16th hole, and there's a ton of skyboxes. So more people come out to the Phoenix Open than any other PGA Tour event. It's definitely a party. It's not like all the other tour events. People are there to enjoy the party and be seen. It's quite a spectacle actually to go and just, it's kind of like a nightclub during the day. Everybody's dressed to the nines to, you know, see what they can see and be seen. And so it's a very interesting atmosphere. You know, a lot of good golf goes on there too. I was actually fortunate enough to be there at the 16th hole back in, I think it was 1996, 97, for when Tiger made his famous hole-in-one there at the 16th hole. The place just went berserk. It was a wild scene. But if you're into golf and into partying, the Phoenix Open is a great way to get out and experience that. You know, there's a lot of the 16th stadium is kind of the place to be, and it gets all the attention, but there's a lot of fun places to hang out on the course and see some really great golf on some picturesque holes too. That course, it's not just the 16th and the 18th holes. There's lots of fun places to hang out there. So, you know, if you can either buy your way in or pick up a pass to some of the skyboxes, that's a great experience as well. They also have the Bird's Nest, which is a concert venue. So you can go to the tournament during the day, and if you haven't partied enough, when the tournament's over and the sun's going down, you don't have to go home. You can go across and go to the Bird's Nest, and they bring in a lot of big name bands to put on a concert every night of the week during the Phoenix Open. So there is a huge classic car auction scene here in Scottsdale. The biggest of them is the Barrett-Jackson car auction. It's, you know, they get thousands of cars every year. The auction is broadcast on TV, and it's known for getting the elite of the elite best cars because it gets the most attention. And so the quality of the people that are coming to buy is is the best of the best. So that you want to go to probably the best car show that you can go to and see thousands of cars, the Barrett-Jackson is amazing. Because when you put a car up for auction, they require that car to be there all week. So any day of the week that you go to the auction, all of the cars are outside. So you can go and walk right up to them. And it's, because these cars are the best of the best, you're going to see pretty much any car you can think of. Just an amazing example of that. Amazing conditions, so a lot of fun. I call it the best car show you can go to. I haven't been for a while, so I might have to go and check it out again this upcoming auction in February. Another big event is the Arabian Horse Show. It's held at Westworld, which is actually the same place that the Barrett-Jackson car auction is held. That's a really cool facility there in North Scottsdale. But if you're into horses or just want to go see an interesting event, the Arabian Horse Show is a lot of fun to go. The crowds aren't huge, so you can get up close and really see these horses and the riders and all that goes into what it takes to have a show horse. And it's a lot of fun to go and check out. It's been quite a while since we've been, but we took our kids when they were younger, and it was really cool to be right up close to the arena. And those horses are so big, they're kind of like trains. When you see them, they're going fast, but they don't look like they're going fast. So when these horses come riding by and you're in the first or second row of the arena, it's quite a spectacle to see these huge horses running around and do it with the accuracy that they do. So if you're into horses, that's a great thing to go check out. Or maybe if you're not, it's also a fun event. If you made it this far, I really appreciate you watching. Scottsdale is a huge city, and I tried to explain and share a lot of the details that I know about the city and what life is like here. There's so much going on here, it's hard for me to put it all in one video, but hopefully you got some value from this. If there's anything I can do, feel free to reach out. I'd love to hear what's going on for you.